Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon and you're watching M.O.N.Comics. You saw the thumbnail? Yes, for this video I thought I would go back and reflect on my favorite pickups from this past year. Now maybe you're new to the channel, maybe you just found my last video, maybe this is the first video you're watching, or maybe you watched my channel off and on and haven't caught everything. So I thought this would be a fun way to show the books that I was really grateful to pick up for this year. If this is your first time watching it or you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, if you wouldn't mind doing so, I'm just really grateful for all my subscribers. Back when I started this almost 2 years ago, it'll be January, it'll be 2 years since I made my channel. I didn't think I'd have, like, if I had 3 people watching, I'd be grateful. Because I just didn't know how it would go. You know, you put yourself out there into the ether and you hope that some people want to hang out with you, and I'm blessed to have 1,757 subscribers, 1,757, good year. I would know, but no, really grateful. It would be a dream to hit 2,000 subscribers. I don't know if I could do it. I guess I should have a little more confidence in myself because I've got this far. So that said, if you wouldn't mind hitting subscribe, liking this video, it definitely helps put the video back in the algorithm. So yeah, I've got a stack of 10 books. I'm not gonna do honorable mentions. I'm gonna just keep it simple. There are 2 books that aren't here I couldn't feature. I didn't give them a number, but they would be Journey into Mystery 62 with the Hulk name being used as a prototype, if you will, just the name being used on the cover, and Tales of Suspense 15. I really did enjoy those. I'll put the pictures up here. I did enjoy those pickups. I'm not sure they would have made the list if they were here. This was really hard to sit down and look at all my books and say, man, like, what ones am I really, you know, I'm grateful for them all, but like, what, you know, they're all, I'm really happy for them. So this is the best I could do, and I think it's a really good reflection this year. So let's get into it. First book, I'm going to say where I got these books if I can remember where I got them from. And this one is special because I got this from my buddy Tyler over at Pockets Full of Comics. If you haven't watched him yet, he's a great story. He inherited over 700 books, mostly Golden Age, from his grandfather to start his little collection, jumpstart it. He kept what he loved. He's using the rest to fund the hobby and get what he does want from Silver Age and stuff. And he recently had a great collection pickup. If you go watch his most recent videos, he got a crazy collection that he found in the wild. But him and I have been talking for a while now. Since his inception, we've become good friends, texting outside of YouTube and Instagram and stuff. And he's out in Iowa, and he had this book, and I really wanted it. And it's special because it came from his grandfather as well. I only got to know one of my grandfathers growing up. The rest had passed away by the time, you know, I had gotten older. So that connection is really cool. It's something I wish I could have with my grandfather, but I'll live vicariously through them. So this is Adventures into Terror number 29 from 1953. This is one of a few pre-code horror books I was really lucky to put my hands on this year. Now the other pre-code horror books, one has some color touch-up, restoration done. Another one has quite some tears. This is in pretty good shape considering its age. I'll put it a little closer to the camera, but why did I pick this book? Joe Maneely has someone who has come into, you know, the light for me this year as far as a great artist. I talked about him briefly in my last video, but he was killed tragically in a subway accident when he was 32 or 33. He was like Stan Lee's go-to man, and I loved how he drew faces. He's got the women in the, this cover's got it all. Women in the red dress, unsuspecting man, and a great vampire cover. I just love how he depicted that vampire. The trade dress is something I really love too. Those yellows, bright yellows, really pop. This is a lower grade book. It's probably like a 1.5 to 2.0 if I had to guess. But if you've watched my channel at all, or if you haven't, pre-code horror or any kind of golden age books, you know, it's, if you're going to get higher grades, it's going to cost way too much. And Tyler was very fair on this with me. So yeah, number 10, I had to pick this Adventures in Terror. It's just a beautiful, beautiful monster cover. If you know me at all, if you don't know me, you're just finding my channel. I'm into monsters big time. So thank you, Tyler. Number 10, Adventures into Terror 29 from 1953. This next book came from Terrificon, and it's not even a book I owned before I went there. When myself and Ricky from All Sorts of Words found out Keanu was going to be there, he was only autographing Berserker comics to support his friend Ron Garney. Now, Ron Garney was the artist in the series, and Keanu wrote it. and there was also some creative people in on the team, but that's what's most notable for. And when I found out I needed a Berserker comic, I stopped at Mike from Lunch Money Comics in Massachusetts, and our mutual friend Jeff from Comic Spa already had a stack of books there for me to choose from, which is just, this hobby's great. It's like you can call in a crack team of people and have something waiting for you in another state because they want to help you out, and that's the kind of guys they are. So this is Berserker #1, and this is a foil variant cover. I'll put who did it right here in the title because I can't remember the top of my head. But I chose this cover. I'm a sucker for foil variant covers because I grew up in the 90s. I guess I kind of got the foil, in my blood, but I'll never have another chance to meet Keanu Reeves. Ron Garney, he does cons quite often. When I met him, he was a super nice guy. And they were both really cool, and they did sign it. You can see Keanu's is in black and Ron's is in gold over there. Probably send this off for authentication somewhere because I just want it encapsulated so my daughters know whose signature it is as they inherit this collection someday. Was a really cool experience. The day was insane. It was the first day, the Friday of Terrificon, and Ricky and I were in line for 8 hours to make this happen. And if someone tells you standing in line isn't a workout, try it. Try standing for line for 8 hours, homie, as Ricky would say. It's not easy. We went through a lot of perils and pitfalls that day, and I mean, we were in line by 5. Ricky was in before me, but it wasn't until like 1:30 that we actually got to go through and meet him, and I was dehydrated. I had had a little fun the night before, and I was tired. I hadn't eaten much, so it was hard for me. I was just like, thank you for everything, man. I love everything you've ever done. I grew up with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was like my first introduction to Keanu, and as I got older, I watched him through The Matrix, and I mean, any other, name a movie Keanu was in, he was fantastic. Into John Wick now, he's just owning that. Speed, I mean, he's just a prolific A-list actor. So to be able to have that experience that I didn't even know I would be able to have, I mean, you got to remember they didn't announce it till Wednesday night that Keanu was going to be there. And then we made the plans to get in line, and I'm really grateful that I did, and that I, got to have that experience with Ricky. Ricky was more about the picture. He got a book signed for a family member, I believe. So I was able to get this book signed and a picture, and super grateful. So coming in at spot number 9 for my favorite pickup is Berserker #1. It's a cool series too. If you read it, it reads like Keanu Reeves. Like he wrote it. It's great. Cool series. Berserker #1, signed by Keanu Reeves and Ron Garney. Number 8, I've got out of the bag, and I got to tell you, I took out of the bag, and that smell. It smells like 1963. Freedom, my friends. So yeah, this is Fantastic Four issue 22. I think the first cover appearance from Mole Man was issue 19. And then this is maybe the next story after the first Fantastic Four issue of Mole Man. I can't be 100 on that, but 1963, Stan Lee, art by Jack Kirby. And there's two things. One real big thing about this book, why I wanted it, but one cool piece about it, it's the first time the thing says it's clobbering time. So that's really cool. Why do I have this out of the bag, and why do I want it? Why did I want it? Is because on the first page, it is signed by Stan Lee, 1990, or it just says 91, but it's 1991. So yeah, this was really, I wanted a Stan Lee autograph. I made that a goal this year. And Big Fly the Comic Guy had picked up a bunch of these from a local shop that had Stan in there in the 90s to sign. So I did take a picture of it. This will be going out for authentication somewhere. I'm not sure. The gloss is still nice on it. Probably a mid-grade 4.5. I'll be sending this out for authentication so that it can be noted that Stan Lee, again, a lot of my collection will go to my kids someday. This is one I'll never sell. The only books that I would sell are stuff to upgrade or get bigger books, which I have done this year to get other books in my collection. But this one will stay forever, and I want to get it authenticated as a Stan Lee actual autograph. So yeah, spot number 8 is Fantastic Four 22, signed by Stan the Man Lee. The rest of these books from here on out are graded. I wanted to have a mix of some raw and graded, but it just so happens that some of my favorite books were graded. So this one was cool for a couple reasons. I wanted to upgrade this book to begin with. This is Daredevil #9 from 1965, and this is an 8.5 white pages graded by CGC. The first appearance of the organizer, I believe. You know, I've had talks with a bunch of collectors, probably most notably my friend Rohan from Absolute Game of Nerds YouTube channel, and we've agreed that, you know, Daredevil is a Silver Age character whose books aren't worth as much as Amazing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men. The first 10 books aren't. And we really got to attribute that to the Rogues Gallery, you know? I mean, a hero is only as good as the great villains he fights. So, you know, Spider-Man, you got the Vulture, Doc Ock. You got some great villains in those first, you know, few issues. Electro, Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, Namor, Mole Man. Let's face it, wasn't the best one to pick to start out with, but you've just got these great villains. And then Daredevil has, like, you know, Stilt Man, Purple Man, the organizer. So you get what I'm saying. But why this is important, it is my highest graded Silver Age comic I own. It is beautiful for a white book from 1965. And it's also important to me because this is from the Fantastic collection. If you haven't followed over the past couple of years, I think it's been announced that a gentleman in Michigan, his father had this massive collection and he left it to him, and they made a film called Selling Superman, which is out now, talking about how that family came into those comics and what they decided to do with them. And they did decide to get a lot of them back out into collectors' hands. And I knew I wanted one with the Fantastic. Now, this isn't a pedigree. It's just a special label for a collection that CGC was able to give to them. So Stan Lee story, and this is also a great Wally Wood cover. I love Wallace Wood. I think he was a prolific golden into Silver Age artist that we lost too young again. So yeah, really, really grateful to add the highest grade Silver Age comic I have in my collection. And the number 9 I actually gave away in a giveaway. And I hope that person's enjoying it. But for the number 7 spot, Daredevil number 9. Number 6, let's go back to the Golden Age. Weird Science, number 19. This was a book I found on eBay. It's a scarce book anyways. You know, it's Golden Age. It's a very desirable cover. It's from 1953, EC Comics. It's a 1.5 with light tanned off-white pages, and it's got some stuff going on with it. It's got the spine of the cover is completely split and reattached with tape, and the cover is detached. That's why it's a low grade, but you know, I always want to, if I can get a book that presents well, the grade really is secondary to me, especially when I'm not going to read it here. I can read it online. So Bill Gaines and Al Feldstein stories, Al Williamson, Joe Orlando and Jack Kamen art, and again, another great Wally Wood cover and art. Again, love Wally Wood. This is a great zombie astronaut cover. Weird Science was a pre-code, in the pre-code catalog for science fiction stories. And a big reason I wanted this is it was used in Seduction of the Innocent, which was the book that came out that really enacted the Comic Code Authority. It was, the congressional hearings, the parents up in arms about these stories. And this was an example they used in the book. It also has a Ray Bradbury adaptation and biography in it, which I loved Ray Bradbury short stories as a kid. Whenever we got to read them in English classes, I was pumped because they were always science fiction. So 1.5, who cares? The book looks great for its age. It's really about the cover to me on this one, and that zombie astronaut is just amazing. Like I said, really hard to find this book. I found it on eBay for a relatively good price, and I consulted with my buddy Collecto6 on Instagram. If you're on YouTube, you know him as Steppo. Prolific collector. And so he was my my Jedi Master as I was going through trying to find this book, and he would say, yeah, that's a good price. You should get it. You're not going to see this book often. And it's true. Census count, I'll put right here for how many are on the census. Now that doesn't give an accurate portrayal of what's out there, but it gives us a kind of a snapshot because, a lot of them are graded to preserve them at that point. But really pumped to get an EC comic that was used in Seduction of the Innocent, Weird Science, number 19 at the number 6 spot. Top 5, here we go. I love monsters, and this is probably my favorite. Don't get me wrong, Man-Thing is my favorite monster of Marvel, but this is my favorite pre-hero Marvel monster. This is Strange Tales 89 from 1961, October 1961, so the month before Fantastic Four drops. This comes out. Strange Tales started in the Golden Age and worked its way into the Silver Age with Marvel. And this is important because it's the first appearance of the dragon Fin Fang Foom. Now, a couple of videos ago, I did a deep dive into Fin Fang Foom and his lore, and I think it's really cool how they developed this character. This was a Stan Lee story. Steve Ditko and Paul Ryman art. Jack Kirby, Dick Cares cover and art. And like I said, first appearance of Fin Fang Foom. It is a 1.5 with off-white pages. Again, the main art was what I was looking for. And Fin Fang Foom is not ripped, torn. The Strange Tales is really bright popping colors. The trade dress back isn't too bad. It is a 1.5, and I got this actually from my buddy Joe over at Threesixtycomics. I had the pleasure of meeting Joe at Terrificon. But before that, when he sold this to me, we were doing the Big Five Live one month, and Joe sells a lot of comics, gets a lot of collections, and sells a lot of comics. And we were talking, and I was like, I'm looking for a Strange Tales, actually on the backstage after the show ended, I was like, I'm looking for a Strange Tales 89, first Fin Fang Foom. And he's like, I actually have one. And I was like, okay, let's talk. So everyone exited. Him and I came up with a deal, and I did it, and I got it. And this was one of my goals to get this. Now, this is a book, if you look at prices, has drastically dropped since, the COVID boom. It's come down way more. I saw a 3.5 for sale on Instagram the other day. I want to say $4.75. It was insane. And that's less than I paid for this, which I don't care. Like, this is long-term. Unless I upgrade, I'll never sell it. This is a special book, especially came from Joe and how I got it and how funny it was that I was just like, yeah, I'm looking for Strange Tales 89. He's like, I got it. Only in this, it's all about who you know, sometimes with connections and what you want to get. So I love Fin Fang Foom. To have his first appearance is great. And his next appearances don't come up until Astonishing Tales in 23 and 24. And they are very cheap to get. So I had to have this. I'm so pumped to have this. Really excited. Jack Kirby at his finest, drawing this big monster. So Strange Tales 89 at number 5. I'm going to stick with the monster theme, but I promise this is my last one. But it's special to me. It's Strange Tales 88. So the issue right before Fin Fang Foom. 1961, September of 61. Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko cover and art, Don Heck art, and I'm guessing Stan Lee story. My wife got me this for my birthday. My wife doesn't buy me comics for presents. She knows I have a lot. She knows I can get them. It's hard for someone who doesn't know comics to buy for someone who loves comics. Like, you don't want them to get ripped off. Like, Ryan, the Classic Collector, had a great video the other day about gift ideas for people for the comic lover in your life. And he made a great point that it's a lot of stress to put on a family member to try to go out and buy something that they know this person likes without getting ripped off, not knowing what they're doing, what they're looking for, unless you have friends that collect too. So my wife reached out to Ryan, the Colossus Collector, and he helped her acquire this. There's no significance other than this is a great pre-hero Marvel Monsters. It was reprinted in Fear issue 2, 3, maybe. I'll put it over here. So I have that too, but really cool. 2 big monsters battling it out. Again, the trade dress is this bright red that pops, and this is a 6.0. It looks great. This is a higher grade for books from this time frame. You got to remember, these were 10-cent. I love the 10-cent bubbles. Love the little 10-cent bubbles right there. These were little funny books they were putting out to sell cheaply. The quality of the paper is not good. You've got Marvel chipping because they didn't sharpen the blades often on the machines cutting the paper. So 6.0 for these books is a higher grade in my book. No pun intended. Anywho, my wife got this for me. I couldn't believe it. I opened it on my birthday in September, and I was just so grateful that she was so thoughtful and said, my husband really wants a comic. I might as well just give it to him. So thanks, Hannah. When you watch this, I appreciate it. I love you. This is in the collection forever. Strange Tales 88 at number 4. Top 3 was tough, real tough. Number 3 is a book that I wanted for a long time. Didn't think it would happen. But luckily, at the beginning of this year, so right in 2024, my buddy JP, the other half of the Absolute Game of Nerds YouTube channel, had already bought this book, but he upgraded like immediately. He bought this, I think, in 2023, and then the new year hit, and he bought this and upgraded immediately. And he's like, "Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want." I think I asked him if he'd sell it to me. He said, "Yeah, no problem." The Crow, #1 from Caliber Press, 1989. Jim O'Barr, story, cover, and art. Yes, I'm aware this isn't the Crow's first appearance. That was Caliber 10, I believe, was the actual first appearance. And there was another book, Dead World, maybe, where he appeared on the back as like a cameo or preview of it. But this is the iconic one that most people want to get. It's got a black cover. It's a very low print run. This is a first printing, which carries the most value. Second and third, not as much. To be honest, I would have been happy with the second or third, but it just so happened that JP had got this, and I was able to buy it off him. So this is the iconic first appearance of the character The Crow, which is also special to me. Growing up, I was a huge fan of the movie, and then I found out it was comics later on in life, and I got the graphic novel, and I read it on like a bi-monthly basis now, because the tragedy surrounding James O'Barr and Brandon Lee and the whole mythos behind this comic. I don't think there's another comic that has this much history and tragedy really tied to one comic. If anyone knows another one, put it down in the comments, between the creator and his work and how the work reflected him. But I love this book. A year ago, a cold October night, a broken down car on a dirt road, a man, a girl, madness, pain, and the shadows. My God, the shadows. It's just beautiful. It's an awesome, awesome book. It is a 6.5, cream to off-white pages. Again, you know, I want a book that's going to look good, that presents well. You go higher for grades, and this is a book that's price really hasn't been too affected by stuff coming down from the pandemic, COVID booms, and prices going back down in this market. You look at the prices of this, and they've stayed pretty steady, maybe come down a little bit, but not dropping as much as the other ones. It's a black cover, so it is tough with all the ticks and stuff. But I mean, it's not crazy. From back here, it looks a lot better. So to add this to my collection, a book that I never thought I'd own, was really special to me. And my wife and I love the movie. We watch it throughout the year whenever we feel like it. And we just showed our 18-year-old niece this the other day, and she loved it. I mean, that's an 18-year-old. So it was really cool to share that with her. And way down the road, I'll share it with my daughters. But yeah, #3 had to be The Crow, #1, first solo story of The Crow. First solo ongoing series of The Crow. #2, this was another Terrificon pickup. Right after I had met Keanu Reeves, it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was hungry, I was tired, I needed a nap, but I knew this was like one of the top books I wanted to get at the con, and I wanted to go in and just get it. Like the adrenaline started kicking in. So I met up with Big B McFly, the comic guy. We were at Very Gary's comic booth, and he had this Silver Surfer issue #4. And at that point, it was graded as CGC 5.0. Cover and art by John and Sal Buscema, art by Howard Purcell and Paul Ryman, story by Stan Lee. And then it's noted for having the classic cover, Silver Surfer vs. Thor, cover in battle, origin of Silver Surfer retold with a Loki appearance, Hulk, Thing, Odin, Hercules, Zeus, and Hemdale cameo. This is, you know, if you want to talk about iconic covers, this is probably one of the most iconic in comic history. Just a wonderful, wonderful battle cover between Thor and the Silver Surfer. I love the Silver Surfer, and the composition and the colors and Thor's helmet, it just can't be denied. But when I bought this book, I was really taken aback because I was kind of out of it. Like I looked and saw what the grade was. I mean, I knew the creative team and why it was important. But when I walked away, in the blue label, it said sign or written John Buscema, written in pen on first page. And I thought, wow, that could really be a John Buscema. And I took a picture of the autograph. I'll put it right here for a second. And, you know, got some different feedback on it. And back in the day, a lot of creators did sign the inside of books. As you saw with that Stan Lee autograph, they didn't sign the front. They didn't want it to be taken away from the art. Now, whether or not you like the front of books signed or whatever, that's completely, you know, it's all personal preference. All good, whatever you want to do. I don't mind it. Having it on the inside and encapsulated, I did take that high-res picture of it. So I sent it to CBCS. There was a lot of stuff going on. When isn't there? With CGC at the time. I'm not reselling this. I just needed someone to verify it was John Buscema's signature. And it sure as heck came back as legit John Buscema's signature. I never, you know, I thought I wouldn't I knew it wouldn't be hard to get a Stan Lee autograph. You know, they're out there. I think I would wager to say, and you can disagree with me in the comments, that Buscema is a rare autograph. Let's face it, he's not who Stan Lee is. He didn't come up with a lot of Marvel's mythos. You know, he didn't autograph millions of things like Stan Lee, but he did create some amazing artwork. So I'm going to guess that his autograph's a little rarer to find. It's just really cool to me to have, you know, his autograph that he did this cover inside this book. So number 2 had to be this, the CBCS 4.0 white pages. I don't care. I'm just thrilled to have this book. So number 2, Silver Surfer, number 4. Book number 1 is one that wasn't even on my radar this year, but sometimes when the chance presents itself, we just have to go for it. Daredevil, number 1. One of my favorite characters is Daredevil. Definitely my favorite street level character. I just always thought how it was great how Marvel gave representation to somebody with a handicap in comics and made him a badass. So how did this come about? Well, I think it was close to the beginning of the year. This book had went up for sale for consignment, and it wasn't a horrible price. It, you know, prices had come down quite a bit on it. And it's a 1.0, and it's a 1.0 because it has a fully detached cover. But I don't care. It's encapsulated, and sometimes you can get really good. There's a big subscription crease down, well, not a subscription crease, sorry, just a crease down the middle. It's very hard to see, actually. But you can get a good deal on comics, big comics, if you don't mind the cover being detached, or the back maybe looking a little worse. So it is a 1.0 off-white pages. It does have the custom label. It is the first appearance of Daredevil, Foggy Nelson, and Karen Page. Stan Lee story, Bill Everett art, Bill Everett and Jack Kirby cover. Love this cover. This came up for consignment, and I said to myself, okay, how many books in my collection can I move around to make this happen? Will I miss these books? I can only tell you the one book that I sold to help finance this was Amazing Spider-Man 50. First appearance of Kingpin, probably the best Spider-Man cover, I think, in my opinion, from back in the day. Do I miss that? Yeah, but I can get that back pretty easy. Even prices have come down on that. This book, the first appearance of a major Silver Age character, I didn't know, you know, and the price went down, you know, what I paid for it, it went down below that, but now it has bounced back up to well above what I paid. And I think it will only go up with time. The only reason I would get rid of this would be to upgrade. But I can't see myself doing it because I'm like perfectly happy with this copy. Even if it's a 1.0, it looks great, and it's the first appearance of Daredevil. I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of people, we don't consider this a blue chip key. You know, Amazing Spider-Man 1, Amazing Fantasy 15, Fantastic Four 1, X-Men 1. You know, there's Hulk 1. There's certain blue chip keys. Maybe this will be recognized more in the future as a blue chip key, but a lot of people don't right now. I just think it's a great first appearance of Daredevil with that iconic black and yellow and 1D on his chest suit. So, I mean, this had to be my number 1 for the year. I'm so grateful and so pumped to have picked up such an awesome first appearance. And throughout the year, I actually was able to complete the first 10 issues of Daredevil. You know, I had gotten some here and there from friends or buying on claim sales, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I only need like issue number 5, 1, 7, and I was able to find them with help. A lot of times people tagging me on Instagram posts for books they thought were good deals. So really psyched to add this to my collection. Quick little edit I wanted to throw in here. I totally forgot to mention it, and then I got on my computer after and I was totally instantly reminded. Son of Crom. Great newer YouTuber, really positive, nice guy out on the West Coast who started making content. I've talked about him in my past videos. He was nice enough to AOK me this awesome monster book, but the point that I want to talk about is he came up with this great fun idea, and it is the 2024 tournament for Collector of the Year. And what he did is he found 32 different channels that he watches, and he came up with this formula to put everyone in this like NCAA style bracket tournament. And I'm not going to say anything about how it's done. I'm going to put a link to the video in the description so you can go check it out and see what it's all about. And then you can go vote for YouTubers you may or may not know on who you think Collector of the Year should be. But also it's just a great community movement that he just came up with to help you find channels you may not know about. And I went through today and I probably subbed 4 or 5 channels I didn't even know about that I can watch now. So please go check out Son of Crown's video. Go vote. I think he's going to announce the winner of it Christmas Day. There are some great channels, as some usual suspects you might know on YouTube, and then some great newer channels that just haven't been seen that much because the algorithm's not throwing them out there. So I really wanted to throw that out there. Son of Crown, Bjorn, Skoll, thank you for putting this in here as my fellow Scandinavian. It's really kind of you. He's offering some really great prizes. Again, I'm not going to ruin it. Go watch his video so you can see what he's offering up. But he came into this community with a fury this year to just have fun and make friends, and he is just hitting all the notes. And he has a great collection, too, that he likes to share. Big Conan guy, which I respect. So please go check that video out. Yeah, just want to throw this in there. Thanks for hanging out again, folks. I appreciate you taking a trip down memory lane from this past year of some amazing books I got, and that I'm really grateful now all in my collection. What's going on? Happy Friday, everyone. We made it through another week. The holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, not far away right now, whatever you celebrate. What I got coming up tonight, 8 p.m. on No Good Comics channel, me and my friend Jess will be discussing Aliens vs. Avengers issue 1 and 2 and how much we love that. It's an awesome, awesome story. And then tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, is Christmas with Cousin Colossus. Ryan the Colossus Collector is hosting a bunch of us for his annual Christmas show. There will be games, there will be giveaways, there will be prizes. I'm going to bring some books to give away because it's the giving season. That's what you do. I love Scrooge. I love the movie Scrooge. I don't know if anyone watches it this time of year, but Bill Murray, and you want to give back, and it feels good. So I want to give back. I want to do some giveaways. So please come hang out with us tomorrow night. Thank you guys for what's been an amazing year on YouTube, my 2nd year. We're not done yet. We got a couple more videos before 2025. That's crazy to say. That's insane. Hits. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope everyone's having a safe, happy week. And until next time, keep reading those comics.